Now we're streaming live. Good afternoon, good evening, and good morning, wherever you are in the world. Thank you for being here today for the Inspire, Ignite conversations that count. And we are talking today, unleashing your intuition and cultivating a self-awareness around your intuition. So my name is Allison Cotton. I'm a soul connector, and I will be facilitating this wonderful discussion today alongside the beautiful Nicol Heard, Denise Blackney, and Sue Rumack. We are all going to have our little intuitive discussions. Get some pens and paper ready, people, because I think there's going to be some channeled guidance coming through, as well as some real big handy tips and tricks that are going to start getting you to unleash your intuition, right? It's such a powerful thing. It's been coming through so strongly for, I think, a lot of people. There's so many people awakening right now on this planet. I think we're looking at about 1 million a week at the moment. It's just incredible the amount of people that the guides are telling me that are just coming through. So what is intuition, right? Our intuition is a deep personal process, and one that most of us here on this panel have been working at for life. I think we all have. And it can be a really valuable tool for decision making, problem solving, and getting into responding to life with joy and fun, right? Because that's how we are meant to be creating it. Intuition is often described as a gut feeling, a sense of knowing. I just see it, I just feel it, I just know it. They're kind of all the things, but it's great to have all those things, but it's really, at the end of the day, for me, it's about trusting that instinct without the need for conscious reasoning. We shouldn't have to tell ourselves or sell ourselves a story to make us believe what's coming through. Right? So let's dive in with our beautiful panelists. Let me introduce each of them. First and foremost, Denise, you're up, hun. Introduce yourself. Let us know who you are and what you do before we get started.
Yes, I help people. I support people to self-healing, to know the truth of their existence, and to feel and heal from there. And a lot of intuition comes into that for themselves. So, yeah, love what I do, and I love hearing that people are awakening
Yes.
to themselves, because it's all, we're so taught not to make it about ourselves, but it's fully about ourselves before we can go out into the world, expand into the world, and make it about others as well.
Yes, that's right. It's an internal game before it's an external game, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I've been doing this journey for, I would say, most of my life, but really intuitively in the last 20 years, really exploring myself and really knowing and bringing
Yeah.
that intuition to the forefront of everything I do. You say
Wonderful.
you see, feel, and know. That's what I lead by, in truth and love. Yeah.
Absolutely. I honestly believe it's the only way to be. Hey, really? It's the only way that shit works.
Absolutely.
Nicol, let's hear from you.
Oh, thank you. I'm so excited to be here and to meet you all, by the way. So thank you. So I'm Nicol Heard, and I'm from Talking, and I've created Be Into It Coaching, which I help people set up their businesses using their intuition and creating those intuitive structures, so people don't feel overwhelmed and confused, because we get told all the shoulds and woulds and coulds in our life, and we neglect listening to ourselves, which to me inherently is our intuition. It's what our heart desires and where we want to go in our life. So that's what I do. But I've been listening to my intuition since the day I was born. I'm very lucky that the women in my life really encouraged. They probably didn't call it intuition then. It was your gut feeling. It was setting your intentions, what you wanted to do, and going with it. And I think we neglected, as we grow older, from that childlike state where we believe what we tell ourselves. We kind of grow up and get told to define ourselves differently. And I think that's where it's really important to stay in our hearts and stay listening to our intuition or our gut feeling.
100%.
Or
And I think that message is starting to ripple out into the world. Like we're seeing 1 million people wake up spiritually every single week. It's just fantastic.
Those stats, it's overwhelming, and so
yeah,
exciting to hear, because people are listening. People are listening to themselves. You know,
and that's that intuition. And we've had such a massive, and as we go through this discussion, I'm sure it will come up, but we've had this massive feminine influx of collective energy, right? And it's all now starting to make an impact on us. And we can see that the numbers, the figures, and all of that is starting to represent in society as it's working. It's working. Keep going, people. It's working.
Well, and look, and that's what you said over the years. But like our, people who use their intuition have often been called insane because they follow it over the years. But we're going back to all of those great people, like Michelangelo and all of these people who actually use their intuition and created amazing things because they actually just concentrated on what was going on coming from their messages.
Wonderful. Yes, so true. Now, we are totally going with the flow here. Sue has come on as a last-minute panelist, so we're very, very grateful to have you here today. Sue, please tell us about you. Let us know who you are, what you do. Love to hear from you.
Okay. Thank you. And I am really pleased to be here. You know how much I love panels, and I love you, Allison.
Thank you. I love you.
Thank you. I'm Sue Rumack. I am an empath trainer, which is all about reading your intuition, getting used to it, managing the overwhelm of it, learning how to interpret how it reads through your body, your mind, your cells, and how it always tells you the truth. So overwhelm management for empaths is what I do. Calm the Overwhelm Coaching Services is the new name of my service for 2024. And
Nice.
Thank you. And I decided to get really granular, like no airy fairy stuff. This is what I do, folks. And
niche down, people.
Niche down, exactly. But it really is entirely everything that I offer is based on learning to interpret your intuition so that you understand what it's telling you, so you can make decisions based on where you want to go with that information. So you are never at the mercy of your intuition once you know how to read it through your body and mind, and how to contact it, how to talk to it, how to make it part of your life. And like everybody else here, I've been an intuitive since I was a very small child. I've been a channeler since I was a small child. I've been traveling out of body. I've got all the spiritual stuff. I know how to do it. I live it. And that's all intuition too. So thank you for listening to me, and we're going to keep on talking.
Yes, as we're going to go around, we're going to have a roundtable discussion here today. I've got a few panel questions for our panelists. And if you are watching live, if you're watching the replay, please let us know. Please say hello with some love and comments. We want to hear you. We're on the other side of the screen, so we don't. Please let us know if you are. So shout out. Say hello. Don't be afraid to emoji our wave, yeah? So just quickly, my name's Allison Cotton, as I said earlier, and I am facilitating this. And I just wanted to give you a little bit of about me, because I was meant to be on this panel today. So we're just going to wing it, and we're going to go with the flow, like I said. But I am a business alignment coach, psychic medium, and human design junkie. I'm what they call a 6-2 generator, and I know how hard it is to struggle to sell from the heart. I've spent years in sales through my corporate work, and now I teach women to trust their intuition of where they are going with their business and selling. Right? Selling from the heart, not selling from the have-tos and the shoulds, and this is how you should do it, and this is why you should do it. It's such a game changer. And the feminine flow, as I said earlier, is flowing through us quite thick and fast. And what I'm seeing for 2024 is a massive golden thread of abundance here. So put your hands up if you are able to really resonate with that feeling of this is just going to be a massive abundant year, right? This is going to really take us to new levels. It kind of feels this shift is happening, and I'm not sure if everyone else is sensing the same shift. I'm pretty sure we all are. We're all intuitive. I want to know first and foremost, as we go around the table today and ask these questions, is, and I'm just putting them in the chat for the ladies here. I want to know today, what 3 steps do you use that help you effectively tap into your intuition? Because I'd really love to give some tips and tricks to our audience today, because with 1 million people waking up, they're all probably asking, how the hell do I do this shit? I don't know where I'm sitting at. If everyone here remembers their own spiritual awakening, it was quite intense, quite overwhelming. I didn't really know what to do with myself for a short time. So, well, mine was, I was also going through a divorce at the time, but, you know, there was other factors, but it really is, it can be for some people quite hectic. I'm just going to use that as a word. So let's go around the room and ask, we'll start with you, Nicol. What 3 steps have you used that have helped you effectively tap into your intuition? And
yeah. Thanks,
the
Allison.
secondary part of the question that Julie has asked on this is, do you acknowledge that limbic chatter, or do you send it on its way? So that's that intuitive nudge.
Yeah, look, absolutely. I don't have like prescribed steps that I do. I've learned very much to create this space for myself to listen. So my step or my advice to people is to be able to find that space for themselves to actually be able to listen and to, you know, to take away the chatter. And for me, how I take away the chatter is I actually acknowledge that it's there. I don't try to push it away. I don't try to hide it. It's like, you know, if I have all of that chatter, I acknowledge it and you go, okay, that's great. Thank you for that. And because it still will be there. But I create that space for myself to actually tune into my heart. I call my intuition my heart, because I do believe that that's where our passion, our purpose, our soul comes from. So I just take that time to actually step back into, for me, I close my eyes. Sometimes I hold, you know, put my hand on my heart because that resonates with me. I do have an innocence meditation that I, you know, if I'm really having trouble, that I go back into. But it's about creating the space that I can actually listen to myself and actually take that time to be aware of my thoughts and feelings and unpack those, because it's we get these messages, you know, we only get those 2,000 messages at a time, where we actually were getting like billions of messages at the time, and it's creating that space to actually receive,
to be able to hear them,
time to unpack them.
Yeah, totally. Yes, creating space to listen to that intuition.
Yeah, and acknowledging what's going on for us. It does, you know, it's not going to go away. We're not going to fix it, but just acknowledge it and going, okay, it's there, and allowing it to go, because often our mind, that's all we need to do with those busy thoughts to send them on their way, is to acknowledge them and let them go. Allison, I think that Allison's frozen. We've lost Allison.
Oh dear. She will be back. Should we ask Denise to offer?
Denise,
Yeah, for myself, I'm find I love that, taking the space, but I find that when I'm on the move all the time, sometimes I can't have that space. So for me, a lot of the time, because it's always there, I find myself going, okay, is this really true for me? It's just really questioning myself, and and trusting myself that, you know, it's a yes or no answer. And, you know, everything's a yes or no answer, in the sense that, is this my truth? Well, yes, it is. Then I trust that I lead in that manner, and I always honor the first one that comes through, because that's the truth. Because we go, oh no, I don't really feel that way, I'm going to take the no answer. But then the feedback will be, what happens next for me is due to me not listening to my intuition. So for me, that's a really big thing, is to ask myself, honor myself in that. And with the chitter chatter always around me, it's like, okay, if it's coming through quite strongly, is this important for me to look at right now, or can we come back to that? Because I know if it's there for me, it'll keep coming back. So I know that, okay, I don't have to do this right now. I can come back to this later. So, you know, it doesn't stop, but I can go, okay, I'll put that aside, or yes, I'll come to that, but I'll come back to that later. And I know it will come back. So, and I think the biggest thing for me is grounding myself. Really, I take time out and I go and sit under my tree and just be, and just, you know, allow myself to sit with what's there. And no judgment on anything, because sometimes, depending on the mood that we're in, we can judge what's coming through. So allowing ourselves to be unjudgmental of what's coming through, and to be really curious. And I find I do that a lot, and always asking myself, oh, I wonder if this is what I need. What does that look like?
Some really, really powerful tips there. Thank you so much, Denise. And you're right. If you don't listen, it's going to keep coming at you, right? Until you decide that it's a yes. Yeah. I know that a lot of people it's like the universe telling you to slow down. If you know, it's going to give you the message, slow down. And if you're not listening, it's going to eventually tell you to stop.
Well, it makes you stop, doesn't it?
That's exactly right.
You end up getting sick, or you're too tired.
You hit a bus. Yeah. That's what happens. You hit
the feather or the brick.
Yes. Yeah. So I know that, you know, it is, if you don't listen, and it's the same in the opposite spectrum. If we're not listening and following those nudges, then we do go backwards. Yeah. Sue, what are your 3 steps?
My 3 steps. Well, actually, can I start with the last half of the question first and then give the 3 steps? Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, first, thank you. Nicole and Denise basically summed up the 3 steps that we really need to take. Listening, making the space, grounding, listening and asking, you know, is this for me right now? And what would that look like, even if it's not? So, I mean, those pieces have already been offered and given. The second half of the question says, what 3 steps? And do you acknowledge the limbic chatter, or do you send it on its way? Well, when we think about intuition, and we think about it from the brain science perspective, which is what I teach, as well as the spiritual and the intuitive and all of that, and the empathic. When we think of it from the brain science perspective, the limbic brain, for anybody that may not be aware, is your fight, flight, survival system. And it sets up an energetic perimeter about 3 feet outside your body optimally. It can be much closer. It can even be stuck inside your body if you're really hung up on protection, or it can be miles and miles and miles out into the universe, collecting everything from everybody. But your limbic brain sets up this perimeter. It's energetic, it's electric, and it is sensitized to pick up on what's going on in your surroundings. And I'm not going to go into the whole explanation of it right now, but what it does is it pings another part of your brain. It's got a scientific name. You don't need to know it. That sends a sensation somewhere in your body. Could be your throat closing down. Could be your throat opening up. Could be a buzz in your head, in your ears. Maybe your eyes are seeing red. Maybe your chest is expanding, or maybe it is contracting. Maybe your gut is going nuts. But the way that your brain interprets what's going on in your perimeter, in your surroundings, the only way that it can grab your attention, because it doesn't use words, the fight, flight, survival doesn't use words, it's primitive, your primitive brain. It uses body sensation. And when you learn to read the sensation, your intuition, because this is what we call these nudges, because split second after you receive the body sensation, your brain has already identified what you think or believe, and might be right, might be wrong, is going on outside around you. And that is where your intuitive hit comes. Oh, I shouldn't be here. Oh, I should be listening more carefully. Oh, this is fantastic. Oh, this is really dangerous or scary. This is going to work out fantastic. Or, oh my God, I got to get out of here before the whole thing explodes. So your brain, your primitive brain, is where your intuition is triggered. And it talks to your body and it talks to your mind. And so we begin to make sense of what we believe to be hits from somewhere that are unknown, but we know for some reason we can trust. Because our brain is sending us sensation that underlies everything. So, number one, do we listen to the limbic brain chatter or the limbic chatter? Only if you want to. You don't have to. But like Denise said, it's going to keep coming back and haunting you. And Allison said the same thing. And Nicole is shaking her head, nodding her head. Yep. Because your brain is trying to protect you. Your survival system is screaming at you. Pay attention here, folks. And, and it's not going to let you go until you either shut it down completely, which isn't always in your best interest, or you pay attention. Now, like Denise and Nicole both said, we need to make space for the intuition to be recognized and heard. My number one step is teaching people how to recognize the body sensation, which is the first alert, and then how to tie that in consistently to the intuitive hit itself, which is danger, safety, joy, pleasure. And those intuitive hits, danger, safety, joy, pleasure, they will always, always, always show up in the same place in your body every single time, no matter who the message is from, no matter what the situation is. So learning to read that empathic body talk is powerful. Essential.
And this is where Nicole said, absolutely, is like taking the space to listen.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
And I mean, I've been a hermit, so I'm totally all in for, taking the space to listen. Thank you so much for your answer. That's really super fascinating. Like to listen to, I mean, I'm all about the brain. I love listening to all things brainy, but it's quite fascinating to see how it works on such a deep cellular level, right?
Well, it's somatic. It is somatic.
Yeah.
And it is all about brain healing. And I think Nicole wants to say something.
Yeah, I want to say. Oh, sorry.
Go for it.
Yes, so I love that you bring in the neuroscience of it, because as you said, our intuition isn't only spiritual, and a lot of people, some people actually will stay away from listening to their intuition because of, that they hear it's spiritual or woo or anything like that. But I love how you've just introduced, the different parts of the brain, because intuition is scientific and it is very important for us to listen to, and how we've created it from, our brain. Our brain is so old and it's developed through the time that we have, intuition is one of our primitive skills that we have, like the fight and flight, the limbic brain. So that was fascinating. Thank you for sharing. I really loved it.
Yeah, I'd love to say something as well. I really love that, the fight or flight, because that's what we've grown up with, on how we have been taught from everything around us, and how that then sits in our body because we haven't addressed how we've felt about that. So, we intuitively shut down because we're hurt. So we've never really had the opportunity to really feel that pain. And every time that pain comes up in the body, it gives us an opportunity to go, yes, I want to feel through this now, so that pain can leave me and I can move on and feel, what I need to feel for the next thing, and heal from it as well. Our body's such a beautiful instrument that allows us to feel if we choose, because we intuitively know when we hit that pain point, there's something there for us to look at. and we get to choose whether we do that or not. And if we do, we get to freedom on the other side of being the truth of who we are.
Well, that's exactly right. We're the channel.
Mm.
Sue, sorry, what were we going to say?
I was going to say, and the beauty of it is that when you know how to read what your body is alerting you with, the sensation, as your body is responding, because we can program our responses through our primitive brain, we can program our responses to that danger to calm it outside of our environment. But we can also learn to turn down the volume on the alert so that even while we are in alert status and responding in a protective way, we're able to reduce that pain to zero in a matter of seconds. It's something that I teach in my programs. And there are so many wonderful somatic exercises that we can do to harness lovingly without shutting down our intuition. As a matter of fact, with enhancing it, because when we are not in fear and when we are not in pain from those alerts anymore, we can really work with our bodies and our brains and the chemistry that's all running through our body to change our health and our chronic conditions that were induced because, oh my God, we've got those adrenaline rushes going through our bodies because we don't know how to turn them off. Learning to turn them off when you feel the alert, bingo, you've got a beautiful life beginning to happen.
I know.
Yeah, I love that.
I think how Denise was saying as well, and for me, asking ourselves to turn that down or the fight or flight, it's also asking, is it true? You know, for me, I go into fight or flight. Is it actually true? You know, am I, because the fight or flight was created because we were actually in physical harm, or, you know, so asking our intuition, is it true? Are we actually in harm's way? Often to me also helps. So, and I know Denise, is this true for me? Am I in harm? Also works for me as well. That quick question, is this, is it actually true that I need to be fright or flight at the moment? Am I being chased by that lion? Or
it's the saber-toothed tiger coming to eat us.
As Sue was saying, that's what anxiety and all of that, the limbic brain and busy brain all does. It feels like we're being chased by a lion sometimes, and sometimes we can just ask ourselves, is that true? And often it's just not, and we can dissipate that fear then and there as well.
Yeah, and I love that, because the pain is there, and if it's true or not, but you can also ask the questions, well, what do I need to see here? Or what is this pain trying to tell me? Yeah, or what's the emotion that is attached to this pain? What emotion comes up for me when I feel this pain? That really helps us even to dig deeper into knowing ourselves, our truth, and actually, finding where that goes. It's like, I always say, it's like we follow the thread of where I am today, and I follow the thread of what's happening today, where it was in my body or in my in my life, that I can look at and ask where that's coming from. What's the truth about it? Yeah, I'm very much about the truth of our existence and healing it. So,
well, we are here to have a physical, human, emotional experience.
Absolutely.
So that is the power of it. And this kind of leads into Julie's next question here, was feel the fear and do it anyway. That statement, we've heard it a lot. I want to know, and we've just had this huge discussion about how this limbic chatter, this brain of ours, primitive brain of ours, keeps us safe, right? I call her Betty, right? She's the ego bitch that, God rest her soul, Betty White. And I've named it after Betty White because she has such a soft heart. And I know on the inside, that's who I am. But it's this little devil of Betty that comes out and just spits out those nasty things to try and keep us safe. God rest her soul. But like the practice for me here is like, Betty, out the back. I don't want to hear it. I don't need to see it. Pack your things and leave, even if it's just for a minute. I just need my space in my head to see where I'm going and what's happening for me. Because my body was already talking to me. I just have to shut this down with the amount of overwhelm of what's going on to recognize what this is telling me. Yeah. So feel the fear, do it anyway. that statement. Do you acknowledge when this comes up for you, or do you send it on its way like Betty? Do you go, oh, fuck, feel the fear? Do it. It's like the jump moment, you know, when you're standing on the edge, you're just about to jump off the cliff and do a bungee jump. I personally would not. It's like diving out of a plane. I don't think I could do that either. But it's this feel the fear moment where you're like, fuck it, and you just dive in. Do you do that, or do you back away? I'm really curious to hear. Let's start with you, Sue. And I'm going to let my dog out because it's really like tapping at the door.
I'm a feel the fear and do it anyway kind of person. And when I was, can I share a story? I'm going to share the story anyway. So when I was 50 years old, I was traveling in Spain, and I was staying with a man who was rather controlling. He couldn't control me. He tried real hard, but it didn't work. But I was on a train. I was supposed to be back in our city. He hadn't been too pleased I'd gone out on my own by a certain time. And the conductor put me on the wrong train. And the train was going Barcelona, and I need to go to Malaga. Okay. So I discovered about an hour and a half into the trip that we were going my wrong direction. And so, I mean, somehow we communicated. They called the radio operator. They said that they would slow down the train going back to Malaga in a mountain station. And all I had to do was jump between two moving trains. And there would be people. And there would be people they would open up due to the doors, and there would be people on the other side with hands ready to pull me in.
That sounds so insanely ridiculous.
Look at me. Do I look like the kind of woman who's going to jump between two moving trains at the age of 50?
Yes.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Of course I do. I looked up to the heavens and I asked my guides, is it a good day to die? And my guides came back, nope, not going to die today. Okay,
let's do it.
Okay. So I backed up to how deep are these cars, right? I backed up, it's right to the back wall, and I took a running leap, 1 foot on the ground, bouncing into the other train. They hauled me in, and everybody on the train is applauding. The point was, I was kind of labeled insane. Not allowed to move anywhere without a guard.
And do it anyway.
Like a movie.
Feel the fear and do it anyway. Now, I'm not recommending to anybody else to jump between moving trains. I've only told my 17-year-old grandson to warn him against doing that. But the point is that a lot of times the fear that we feel is not ours. And like Nicole said, is it true? Because what we feel as empaths, and we are all empaths in this community, even if you don't think you are. If you feel a bunch of stuff, you are. Okay, just get over that part.
Your aura tells you so. It just is.
Yeah, your aura. Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, if what you feel in your body, the question comes down, you are feeling it. You are picking up a vibrational frequency from your environment. The question is it yours? Is it your internal environment that's warning you? Is it a situation that is going to harm you in the outside environment or welcoming you in? Or is it somebody else's fear? Is it somebody else's experience? So there is more than one question to ask before you do it anyway. The question is it mine? Thank you, Nicole. Absolutely, yes. And if the answer is no, and how do you know that it's not yours? You ask your heart. And I know everybody here is heart-centered. You ask your heart, your body will give you a real strong hit of a yes or a no. And you'll recognize it. I can't tell you what it's going to be because for each person is different. But you will get that hit that yes, it is yours, or no, it is not. And if it is not, you programmed your brain to send it back with a thank you, but not deliverable. I teach that. It's fun. But the point is, yeah, return to sender. Exactly, return to sender. But it has to be sent in a special way that their hostility sensor doesn't pick it up as your fear responding to their fear. So feel the fear and do it anyway. Ask yourself, is it mine? Is it true? Is it strictly an old belief system that is telling me I can't do this thing? Is it a syndrome of some kind that doesn't allow the fraud syndrome, whether or not I'm not worthy, I'm not good enough.
Imposter syndrome and all
Imposter,
of
there you
the
go.
other,
Thank you. That was the word I was looking for.
other bits and pieces. Exactly.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have anything that they would like to say about the feel the fear and do it anyway?
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely. Yeah, you've said all of it, a lot of it. So yeah, thank you. But I also ask myself when I'm feeling the fear, because fear and excitement feel the same. There's not much difference to fear and excitement. And we think when we feel that way, oh, it's always fear. So am I just really excited to be going on this adventure? What's happening to me? Or is it fear? So really asking that as well, because they feel the same. Because sometimes we're so adrenaline or excited, we take it as fear. But I think really excited.
Yeah. And some of it is our conditioning on how we're taking this on. You know, for example, a ride could be so fucking nerve-wracking, but so exciting at the same time.
Absolutely.
Right? And so you sit there and you think, well, hang on, am I excited for this? Or am I like, just because everyone's like, go on, don't be a scaredy cat, go on. And you're getting conditioned by that sensation. So your body's then going, oh, this is a scary thing, I'm not doing it.
Well, that, you get so excited it becomes overwhelming, so you think it's fear, but it's just pure excitement of what's going on. So I'm always questioning, am I excited about this or am I fearful about this? And then
absolutely. And one thing that you can take a step further in this, and then we'll hear from Nicole, is getting grounded in that decision. Putting your feet on the ground going, is this mine or is this not mine? You know, sway test yourself. Yes or no? So, but we do forget when we're in that fight, flight, and freeze mode, in that fear, in that, oh my God, I can't think. Don't make me make decisions.
Yeah, because we're taught that, aren't we? We're taught to go to fear straight away.
It's a reaction that we've created for ourselves. It's a physical sensation that we need to recognize. Okay, this is just a fear thing that I'm feeling, and if I just let it be for a couple of minutes, ground my energy, I'll be able to see clarity on what that looks like.
And and the amazing thing, if you look at children, they go into such excitement for things, and if their parents aren't excited, the parents dull that down.
That's right.
Oh no, you can't do that. Then the child becomes fearful. So they don't then differentiate what fear and excitement really feels like.
That's right. I think a lot of it is education. Nicole.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think fear, we've actually learnt to define it in a certain way, and then we've also learnt to attach emotion to it. And when we feel that emotion, that's when we actually start going, oh, hang on a sec, is that if I do this, I might feel sad. If I do this, I might feel fear. So we actually anticipate what is going to happen instead of actually allowing it to happen. And that's where, using our intuition and feeling the fear is really important, because we can actually sit there and go, what is actually going on for me right now? What does my heart want right now? Yes, getting on that ride, as Allison said, is it okay to feel fearful? Is it okay? It's, our intuition can give us permission to feel fearful. It's the same as, for me, where my intuition and feeling the fear became really important. And in my experience was in 2011, in 12 months time, it started in the March where my husband had a heart attack. I had a really bad car accident where my husband was then called and said, you need to get to Melbourne, but I can't tell you out of your 3 children, your wife who will be alive. We then lost our nephew and our grandfather. Then my son passed away. Then this is all in 12 months. Then my other son got hit by a jet ski driver who was drunk driving. And then it finished up with my husband having a stroke. Now, I know everybody, and it's taken me a while to actually be able to share this story because of people's reaction. It becomes overwhelming, and it can be triggering to them. But what I received most from that, and it was that last moment of driving after my son was hit with the jet ski drive, because we kept going. you know, we kept asking ourselves, why does this keep happening? You know, and our intuition, and instead of listening to our intuition, to stop looking for it, because every time, and not saying that, but we kept looking for it. And that right at that moment, as we were, and right before my husband had the stroke, was stop looking for it, stop looking for the fear. And it was like, okay, we're now going to live our life, because we could have actually, myself and my family, we could have huddled up into a ball and never experienced anything again. And I think we would have been forgiven for that. But at that moment, after we decided, no, we're actually going to live life. It's not about feeling the fear, because it's okay to feel fear. You know, we say that, you know, fear isn't bad. You know, we make these emotions, fear and sad, sometimes we define them as bad, but sometimes they're just what we're feeling. And in that moment, in my experience and my family's experience, we chose to live life to the fullest. And, you know, 6 weeks after that, we did the 100K walk to give awareness around organ donation. That's a belief of ours, after living in the hospitals and things like that, that we can pay it forward. And but from that moment on, we actually chose to live life, to listen to our intuition, to actually feel the fear and be okay with it. You know, we don't have to, I think, Sue, you mentioned it, but I touched on it. We define these things as emotions and we push them away because we've been told that those emotions are bad. Grief, fear, sadness is bad. No, it's okay to feel the fear and hop on that ride. It's okay. It doesn't have to be bad. It's just an open experience, and and to be grateful for that emotion, because it is something that we've been taught to keep ourselves safe. So I think feeling the fear is okay. It's okay.
Absolutely.
And go ahead, and then you have that choice to go ahead and do it anyway.
Yeah, I love that
100%.
experiencing what you experience everything and just feel it.
Yeah, it's
Here in
okay.
the moment, then allows you to move into the next.
We make it bad. It doesn't have to be bad in my experience.
No.
And to be grateful for it. I think, Sue, you said, somebody touched on being grateful for our past experiences. They have got us to where we are.
100%.
Well, thank you.
And nothing is ever wrong. Like, it's to me, I don't know about anyone else here, but to me, it's like no choice is ever wrong. It's just, it's part of your plan. It's part of your path. It's part of who you are. Like, we are designed to make fucking mistakes.
And we can
We're designed
we're,
not to.
yeah,
It's
we're,
And we
not
get chastised if we do.
we're
not
so
wrong. It's
presented. Yeah, we're
detours.
presented with, we can do this or we can do that. And, you know, then if I choose this, that's the path I take. If I choose that, that's the path I take. And it's really to
Not allowed to divert any time in between.
absolutely, but to really experience the full capacity of the path you take and feel right through it, to actually allow your intuition to take on what is
I don't
there
plan
for
on
you.
coming back anytime soon in a reincarnation. I'm going to fully express this little version I got right here
Absolutely.
into every experience I could possibly imagine, so I don't have to come back for more.
Absolutely. And that's it.
That's my plan
like
anyway.
you said at the beginning, we're here to experience everything, see it, feel it.
Yeah.
And know it, you know, so
100%.
it's truly about the experience, and that's what our intuition gives us, is to experience everything to its fullest capacity and know the truth of it, and then you know the truth of yourself.
And I think people using your intuition, it takes us on a journey. It's not the actual end result. And I think a lot of people think intuition is, they're going to create. If I follow my intuition, it's going to be this. No, following your intuition is creating a path that you're going to live, you know, and have, you know, and be the most fully self-expressed you can. And sometimes it's not going to be straight. It's going to be wonky, you know, and that's
meant to flow.
Yeah, and you don't want it to end. You want more.
Is any river, is any thread, is any path straight? No, not unless you draw it with a ruler.
But aren't those detours so interesting and so rich?
Yes.
You know? Yes. And I mean, there were times when my detours would really frustrate me. It was like, oh my God, I'm going that way. Why am I going that way? And then if I allowed myself just to flow with the detour, it
Yes.
took me to the next right place for the
But
best
you know what? It
expression
actually
of that
happens. Go.
thing.
Go.
Yeah.
It happens faster. It happens faster.
Yes.
I know when I hit that bus in August 2022, I was told to stop by the universe. I wasn't paying attention, wasn't listening to my intuition. I can tell you from the heart and soul, I was not. I was like pushing and forcing and making shit happen. And it doesn't fucking work. So when I actually had to stop and I listened to my intuition, right, don't move today, stay in bed today. Well, baby steps today, you're a bit tender, you're a bit sore, like, and then the progression is if I listen to that, instead of going, oh, I've got to get up and I've got to force myself to walk because the doctor said so, and you know, because if I don't move, I listened to my intuition. I think I laid in bed for 24 hours solid, and then I got up, and then I moved, but I moved so slow, and I could see my husband's the pain in his eyes. Is like, can you move any faster? But I was moving, but at the same time, you could see the compassion of like, oh yeah, she saw. But it was, for me, listening to my intuition in such micro paces has gotten me to trust it so much more. So coming back to that space, coming back to, you know, listening to ourselves is slowing down and trusting what's coming through, that it's perfect in the right timing, in the right alignment, in the right path, and all of those things.
Alison,
May I?
I was just going to say, I think that's a certainty as humans we've been taught to have to know, like we have to be certain. Instead of having that curiosity and wonder that we don't have to know, we can actually wake up, you know, after sleeping after 24 hours to recover. We can wake up and then decide on our next step. We can then ask ourselves. We don't have to have everything organized and placed out. And that's what the beauty of our intuition allows us. What is best for us in this moment, and what's the next step?
And as I said, you know, as I was saying, it happens faster because by November, by the end of October, so I think it was about October 20th. So 2 months after I had been at my accident, I was doing Bikram yoga, which is probably the most intense, highest, hottest, sweatiest, most forceful yoga that you could imagine, right? But that is what my body asked me to do. And I followed that nudge and I did it. And you know what? I felt so much better afterwards, not so much in the session, but afterwards I felt better. And I was so grateful that I took the nudge to do that thing. Right. And healing happens faster when we follow that.
Absolutely. And you know, when you talk about intuition, it's just taking responsibility for self and not letting the rest of the world take responsibility for you. Intuition is really owning and living by your desire, what your soul truly desires for you. Because when we're living according to the outside of us, we're living to the world. But when we come back to the inside and go, okay, where am I? Who am I? Why am I? How am I? Then we allow then that curiosity then to play out and find out more about ourselves. We become truly responsible for our own being. Then the beauty of that, the self-love and nurture that we create for ourselves, people see and we give them the opportunity to do that for themselves.
100%.
And isn't this partly also about giving ourselves permission to do everything that the two of you have already said?
Yes.
The first part of owning your intuition is giving yourself permission to explore it.
Sue,
own it.
As always, you are beautifully in time for the next question as we're leading into the last 10 minutes of our conversation today. So anyone watching, please let us know if you have any comments, any questions, anything that you would like the beautiful ladies here to share with you. One last chance. This is your opportunity to ask as many questions as possible, people. Start putting them in the comments and we will get to them. But Sue, answer this question for me. Right? And I think you just did. With what would you say every day you follow your intuition? Like, would you say you follow your intuition every day? Because I know here that we all believe that our intuition is turned in, tuned in, turned on, tapped in, whatever you want to call it. But Julie has asked here, would you say every day you follow your intuition or your instincts? And I think that you've just answered that by saying giving yourself permission, but keep talking.
Okay. So the answer is yes. Every day, every time intuition nudges me with a thought, a feeling, a sensation, a fear, I stop and I pay attention, and I question it. I don't take it at face value ever, except when it is thought-based, not just sensation-based, but there's a sensation and a thought together. And then I'll go, okay, not questioning that one, going with it. And I have been saved from stepping off the curb in front of a car. I have been turned down the correct street when I didn't know where I was going and standing right in front of the right thing. I play games online to keep my brain active. And do I choose this tile or that tile? Almost 7 out of 10 times, not perfect. I choose the right tile that uncovers the right next tile. So do I believe in intuition? Do I follow it every day? I do. I truly do.
Good.
Especially when it comes to health and wealth.
Yes. Lovely. Nicole, let's finish up with this last question. Would you say you follow your instincts and intuition every day? I'm pretty sure the answer is yes, but
without a doubt, I will make the space, whether it be for 10 seconds or what, any decision I have. And I don't do it 100%, but I try to set the intention to use my intuition. If I use my intuition, I'm on the right path. I have the permission to be myself. And I'm fully expressed in who I am. And I don't chastise myself. I don't, my brain, my limbic thoughts are less, but I also like myself when I use my intuition. Like, I actually like myself because I'm following who I am. I follow the thing that my heart's non-negotiable and it's not up for compromise. So if my heart wants to do something, I do it. And sometimes, if people who aren't trained or recognize this can hear that as being selfish, but it's not. It's been me being able to be fully self-expressed, to be a sovereign being, so I can assist others to be a sovereign being, that they can be fully expressed in their heart as well. And as simply as I draw a circle and step into it and say, what's best for me? Is this best for me? When I can't sleep at night because I do have PTSD, I have crazy thoughts at night and don't sleep. Why? So I step into my intuition and go, hey, what's going on? Is it, what's going on for me? And then that helps me sleep. Intuition is a life skill that we all use and need to actually, be in our hearts.
I think it's just part of it, isn't it? Our flight, fright, and freeze is our intuition, just like, the conscious choices that we make through our heart is our intuition.
Sometimes that's it. It's just tapping into our unconsciousness of what we truly want.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Denise.
I don't know how to expand on that because it's all how I feel as well.
It's been quite a powerful conversation today.
Yeah, it's a big yes from me, but also I'd like to add that, your intuition, when you're seeking yourself, also you'll see things that will present itself to you as well that are the gifts to show you that you're on the right track, or you need to move aside a bit or go down this path like you were saying before, Sue. But your intuition, if you're tuned into it and asking yourself and honoring it, the answers are always around you, the opportunities are always around you, and you get to choose. You get to 100%. Choose to listen today. You get to choose to, no, I'm just playing it down today. You get to choose. It's always there for you. Yeah.
Conscious choices.
Absolutely.
Well, ladies, this has been an absolute fantastic conversation. We have a few minutes left to wrap up. I would like to, we don't seem to have any questions, and that's okay. But what I would like to do is just one more time go around the table, and if you could both all just share like 1 minute with an offer or a free offer that you have for our audience listening today, so they can start unleashing their intuition for themselves. Nicol, let's start with you.
Oh, okay. I wasn't prepared for that because I was right into the this amazing conversation.
I like to throw curly ones at the end, so don't worry. Trust your instinct.
So, you know, if you are a business person and you do, you know, do work by your intuition and would like to create those structures in your business to prevent overwhelm and to actually run a business that you love, please reach out. And I'd love to chat to you and actually just start you on that process of creating a business you love.
Perfect. And Sophia will be putting all the links to everyone's places and people's where they can be found. So don't worry about putting those links in there, but thank you so much for sharing. Denise.
Yes, I love supporting people to know the truth about themselves and to heal. So it's really supporting people on a journey of self-discovery, self-curiosity, and really tapping into their natural state of healing every day for themselves and in life. And I'm happy to have a chat. Anyone want to get on a call? I'm happy to have a chat and just, see how you want to start your journey, get onto your journey. Any questions? I just love helping people to thrive in life and live their truth. So, yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Denise. And Sue, 1 minute.
Okay, 1 minute. I'm the overwhelm strategist for empaths and highly sensitive people. And wherever you are stuck in your life, especially when it comes to intuition, because that's how we fly, is through our intuition. Anybody who would like to get on to my next step, it's called the Next Steps Life Blueprint. It's about a 90-minute call. It's free. And if you go to my website, which will be in the comments, you can connect and set up a free appointment. I would love to talk to you all about your experiences with intuition.
Fantastic. And for anyone who is interested in getting a free chakra balance, I will put the links in for that, because there is nothing like having alignment. And the first place you need to start with is your energy, and your energy is all linked into your chakra system. So it is a 40-minute free chakra balance using Reiki and light language to realign your entire system. So thank you so much, ladies, for being here. It's been wonderful. And thank you, everyone who has watched today, wherever you may be. Thank you so much. And we're sending love and prayers to those in America who are suffering for some pretty severe storms. A few of our tribe hosts have had to cancel meetings today due to those storms and power outages and whatnot. So stay safe, everybody. Sending love your way. All right. Thank you so much, people. We will be talking soon. This is our first panel of the year and many more to come. Thank you for joining. Bye for now, everybody.
Thanks, Allison.
Thank you.
Thank you, Allison. You were a great facilitator.